Right at 9 o'clock, the snow came, and now you see it circling around me. We got light, fluffy snow. And if you look at the roads are pretty clear. The snow plow. And you see this huge tree behind me. It's been knocked down. Wind gusts just breaking it, not from the roof.
I love you is what Tanisha's father signed in court today.
On the highway, this person told us the snow smashed right into their windshield.
Hey, Rachel, the flames from this fire are still just as high and showing no signs of slowing down.
There's a heavy presence of just sirens and fire trucks in the area. As we take a look, we can see that it goes right over here.
I spoke to a person in the area, and he tells me basically from this stop sign all the way down the street to that stop sign lives a bunch of elderly people. Main campus of the former Doane Stewart School gone. Now, alumni call that the heart of the building, but those that want to save what's left, this right here behind me, they say this is the soul. This laundromat, firefighters have been hosing it down for hours. I spoke to the chief. And as community members, pastors, elected officials all gather here, you see right where the bullet shattered through the glass.
It was a rainy day earlier today, but that did not stop the women who travel from different parts of the U.S. to participate in today's race.
People get together to raise money. Fast forward 45 years later, and this is what you have, the largest student-led fundraiser in the Capital Region.
Good evening, Rachel. This truly is a heartbreaking story. I just spoke to one of Danielle's closest friends, Mary Doyle. Mary was in the water with Danielle on that tragic day, and although she survived, the loss of her friend weighs heavy on her heart.
She brought like so many people together, and just with like her energy and just like her whole vibe. That girl was like really my other half. Danny, I don't really think I'd probably be where I am today if it wasn't for her, really.
Mary tells me her and Danny were inseparable. The day before Danielle's 18th birthday, they went swimming, and that's when they were separated.
Then I got to a point where I was probably about like 10 feet in front of her, and I tried to turn around to see if she was there, and I couldn't even see her. But at that point, I was just like, if I stay here, I'm going to die too.
Mary tells me it got so bad they couldn't touch the bottom of the floor.
I couldn't even have like any energy to like move, so I was literally crawling until I could like feel like I was on shore, and then at that point, that's when I collapsed.
From there, the lifeguard pulled Mary on the stretcher, but she tells me Danny went under and her body wasn't found until the next day around 1 a.m. When Mary's family heard the news, they immediately caught a flight to Florida.
I just couldn't even hold one thought. You know, it was all over the place.
I feel absolutely terrible for Danny and her family, and for my granddaughter to lose her best friend.
There has not been a single day where I have not talked to her on the phone or seen her or even call her. But it's going to be hard. I just try and take it one day at a time.
The family is just asking that everyone pray for them as they get through this difficult time. Reporting in Brunswick, Taniqua Pennix, News Channel 13 with coverage you can trust.
Well, I asked several different people and got several different but similar answers. So the best way to explain it is to just show you. Here we go. But don't take my word. Watch the people who've been doing it way longer than me.
Countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2.
It does take a lot of talent to perfect stepping. You know, it's not something that you can just do overnight.
Step is actually really hard. I know it sounds simple, like stomping, clapping, hitting, but there's techniques to it that can't be ignored. We did like arm drills where we would stand and we would put our arm like this, like this, like this, or like this, in order to show like the strength in our arms and make sure that everyone's arms are on the same level.
Everybody wants to be.
Your arms, I would say your arms are probably one of the muscles that you're using the most. It's a lot on your feet because you're constantly stomping, constantly lifting your legs, constantly clapping under them, over them. You always have to give like a kind of face, like, yeah, I know I did this, and I bet you wish you could too.
Stepping to me is, I guess, like a routine, but it's also a culmination of history and culture.
It's a full body workout for sure. I found myself sweating a lot.
The historically African-American fraternities and sororities, also known as the Divine Nine, use stepping as a way to show their love and pride for their organization. But stepping's origins are traced back to the African gumboot dance.
The miners used to communicate with each other by slapping and clapping the boots, because when they was working the mines, they wasn't allowed to talk.
Throughout the years, fraternities and sororities have transitioned from stepping to what they call strolling.
Stepping traditionally has no music. We're strolling, you're doing some kind of performing art tradition to any kind of beat or music.
For nearly 2 decades here in Albany, the Palace Theater has hosted its annual step show, and it all started with 2 brothers.
It was an opportunity for us to expose the inner city youth in Albany to the experience of black colleges.
We use kind of like use steps as a way to get kids in one place at the same time. And then as you see, I always go over like Black History Month facts and tips.
Performing at the Palace is also a way to build confidence. Days before, Team Onyx is practicing their routine.
Like, I get nervous fast, but I just take off my glasses and I just dance.
Once you're up there and dancing, it's like, oh, you're fine.
Stepping is like any other sport, and we want it to be open to anybody who has an interest in the sport.
Stepping is a cultural phenomenon that originally started off as something exclusive, but throughout the years is grown into something massive to entertain everyone. Reporting in Albany, Taniqua Pennix, News Channel 13 with coverage you can trust. Good evening, Rachel. I love you is what Tanisha's father signed in court today. He says before Tanisha's life was tragically taken, she was trying to learn American Sign Language. It was a beautiful tribute for his youngest daughter.
This means I love you. I love you.
Mr. Brathwaite pushed through tears to talk about how special Tanisha was and how her death has devastated the family.
I can't forgive you.
One after the other, we heard from Tanisha's family members, each expressing their pain and revealing disturbing details they've learned from the incident reports about the crash.
You say you going through a bad time because of a breakup with your child's mother. You were actually, allegedly, going to meet another woman that day. It's in black and white. You were going to meet another woman.
Okur pled guilty in February for the fatal hit and run where his vehicle slammed into Tanisha at the corner of Clinton Avenue and North Swan Street in Albany.
You would have just stopped at least. Just stop. Just sat there with her. And maybe that would have made me feel a little better. But you just left her there like garbage. And that hurts my heart.
Okur was given the chance to speak and plead his case for the minimum sentencing.
Sorry that my choices that day have changed life forever.
Judge Ackerman gave him the max, noting hours after the crash, Okur was arrested by Guilderland police for a DWI. Albany police questioned him after, asking if he knew anything about the hit and run in Albany, and at the time he said he did not.
You lied to protect yourself at her expense. You had the chance to be the selfless, kind, caring person that your friends and family talk about, and you showed none of that on the day that you took Tanisha out of this world.
The family tells me one chapter is closed. Now they embark on a new one as they try to move forward and honor Tanisha's legacy. Reporting in Albany, Taniqua Pennix, News Channel 13 with coverage. Good evening, Rachel. Police here are still looking for that suspect or suspects responsible for that shooting. But today we saw a large crowd gathered outside the Village Barber and Beauty Shop on 2nd Avenue to pay their respects. 47-year-old barber Tyrone Staley was shot and killed while cutting hair.
So we watched our barber die. We watched a good man die. This man was here every day, faithfully cutting hair. That's all he did. He was a family man.
And as community members, pastors, elected officials all gather here, you see right where the bullet shattered through the glass.
The shots just wouldn't stop coming, and it was like simultaneous shots coming. I tried to help him, but we had to watch him die.
By instinct, Graham grabbed his 9-year-old grandson who was grazed by a bullet.
You spared his life, that his grandfather put his hand on him.
The elders prayed over him, thanking God for the miracle.
That was just reflex. You know, kids are here all the time.
Village Barber and Beauty is normally seen by others as a neutral spot, a family shop that caters to everyone in the community.
When I was around, it was like a spiritual place for me to come get my hair cut.
I hope this is a one-time thing that'll never happen again. But I got my grandbaby here. I don't want to have to worry.
They want to grow up. They want to grow up. Your life matters. Your life matters.
Father and a local community leader says changes need to be made.
And hopefully we're able to, do some things with events like this, community members getting involved, getting engaged, giving these young people an opportunity to recognize that they have greatness within them.
As of now, prayers are needed for the family of Staley, and they want answers.
And police are asking anyone with any information to give them a call. You can call them at the number on your screen. Reporting here in Albany, Taniqua Pennix, News Channel 13.